FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning to you. The birds are chirping.
Hey, no.
Good morning to you. The birds are chirping.
You could try and take us, but with the gladiators, everyone arrange you. But secretly the savior, glory and gore go hand in hand. That's why we're making headlines.
The Eye Opener.
And I'ma get it, I know what I'm doing. Patience and the time, I know what I'm doing, baby. Staring at it, I know what I'm doing. Staring at a gladiator, talking about a revolution. No, this is not a game. Nah, baby. I'm talking turnout. And I don't ever burn out.
And good morning, and welcome to the Eye that Opens. Saturday, what is today, the 15th or the 16th? Today's the 16th. August soon over and December soon here. Even though we may not be having Junkanoo, who knows what's going to happen.
We're definitely having Junkanoo, man.
Do we though?
Yeah, man.
You know, I honestly,
Things gonna
every
work
time
out.
I've read the news about the JCNP and the government, I could not care less because they're always fighting about something.
It's not fighting. It's a disagreement.
They're fighting. And the government's probably doing something. They didn't advise them. They was doing headed. I've honestly just couldn't be bothered anymore.
I feel like it's so much drama.
They'll figure it
these
out
days
because
with-
they're professionals on both sides. The JCNP has people that I'm sure are qualified for the position that are there, and the government of the Bahamas, I'm sure, has people who are qualified to negotiate there. They'll figure it out
Yeah,
at some
will.
point in
They
time.
will.
I don't need to stress
but
about
you
it.
know, caught up in the middle of this also, the Junkanoo is it's three parts.
Which
to this, you know.
Junkanoo? The ones who never just get paid, or the ones who run the groups?
And just in general.
Oh, I shouldn't
Because
say that.
remember with Genesis, remember the whole thing with Genesis not supposed to be rushing during Fox Hill Day that just passed. They were like, JCMB was like, no, can't do that. And they was just like, we're going to do it anyway. And then
I don't see why they can't do it.
they
There's a
want them to
contract with-
stand, they want them to stand like in solidarity with the JCMP because right now, them and the government, they...
Well, I understand that, but we're also a free country and not a communist society.
Yeah.
People can pretty much do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah, I agree. That's how I felt. I was just like, well, as a group, like it's Fox Hill Day. Come on, bro. So,
I get it, though. I get it. I get the solidarity argument.
I know, but we always talk about Junkanoo as a cultural expression. If it is something that is more cultural than political, and I don't mean political like PLP and I just mean generally political, then, what's all of this, drama, right? It's just too much.
I had to think on that just now. You said cultural expression. It
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
but I
it's
was
always
thinking,
touted as
no,
a cultural
I was
expression
thinking
too,
to
so-
myself, is Junkanoo representative of the entire experience of Bahamians? Or is it
absolutely not.
Or is it representative?
Of Black Bahamians.
No, I was going to say, well, sure, maybe Black Bahamians, but I was meaning, is it just
It's like
representative
exclusively Black Bahamians.
of Black Bahamians in New Providence and now Freeport and sometimes maybe Eleuthera?
No. I think Junkanoo is. I'm not sure.
Because-
I'm not sure if Junkanoo was practiced. That would be a good thing. If somebody who knows could call in and say if Junkanoo like across the Bahamas has been celebrated
Because
in
I
every
actually-
island on every island.
Something you said this week was that everybody's family at some point in time that is in Nassau currently, majority of people
Yeah.
are not actually from Nassau and New Providence.
No.
Most of us are from the various family islands.
Which is why they ask you where
Yes,
your family
you're correct.
from.
You're correct.
'Cause-
and I
'cause-
wonder if my family that's from Acklands and Ragged Island, and also Andres on my mother's side, is this, and also partially Grand Bahama, apparently, is this like representative of, or represent, I don't know the word, man. See, I haven't tongue twisters. Is it like representing them as well? Is this something that's a shared experience for all the family islanders as well? I don't know. Because oftentimes when we have this conversation about how far the Bahamas has come and how developed we've become as a society, it usually entirely revolves around the discussion of Nassau. And if you just like, for some reason, put Nassau into a black hole and Grand Bahama, not really Grand, just Freeport really, for 10 minutes and then have the exact same discussion about the development of the country, it's a very different discussion because it is very unequal development in this country. And something as simple as going to an ATM and withdrawing money is a luxury that many family owners just simply don't have, period, at all. No banking services, no banks. But they got to find a way to do business, like we've seen in Abaco. Not Abaco, sorry, Andros. So anyway.
So it's a little broken apart. But when you talked about the thing about the family islands, which is something I found out interestingly, and I may have said it before here, but when I was doing an internship at the archive several years ago, I read this book, and it was showing all the different numbers of how much people were living on each island, and this was like the 1960s, I think, 1960s, 1950s, and it was very, very. It was like like Nassau didn't have the majority of people on it at all. Now 60 to 70% of the population.
70%,
Yeah, I know since Dorian kind of, changed that a little bit, but now 60 to 70% of the population is on Nassau, which is one of the smallest islands, which is so crazy. And it's like because of all this centralization, I don't know if that's a word, of people flocking to the capital for work and other reasons, there is this general assumption that when people meet you and greet you and they're getting to know you, right, they ask, hey, when you introduce yourself, oh, what island you're from, or based on your last name, they'd say, oh, your family is from this island or this island, right? Because everyone acknowledges. It's like a very passive acknowledgement of us not being from here. It's like people, they're just like, okay, because they know that most people aren't from Nassau. And so in the book, like I said, you had like the populations were basically balanced across the family islands, all of the major islands for sure, right? And so you had like, and some islands even had a greater population than Nassau. So I found that very interesting. And, obviously over the last several decades, we've seen more and more people come to New Providence, and if you talk to people, a lot of people don't necessarily want to be here, but they have to for work or because all of their family is here now and they all moved and they don't have support on the family islands, or they don't have jobs or resources or infrastructure or access to health care that they may need at any time. So it's or like not. They have access to healthcare, but you know what I mean, like extended healthcare, right? If they have like certain conditions that are sensitive, they can't afford to be flying back and forth. So,
because we have clinics on the family islands. Yes, the roofs may be caved in on several of them. Yes, there's leak. Yeah, a lot of them got broken windows. But look at it this way: they got too nice, and they got bondage. Look how far we've come, Crystal.
Yeah, no. But I mean, like when you talk about culture, and you talk about like the cultures of the family islands, right?
Yes, correct. Yes.
Every island has their culture. Even if you visited several family islands, and a lot of the very well-traveled Bahamians who've been to a lot of islands and they visit family islands regularly, would be able to tell the difference in even Bahamian dishes have their variations in the different family islands, like. Spanish Wells have their own Johnny cake.
Yes, and it's great.
Cat Island has their own way that they make bread. Their bread, I don't know if every bakery is like that, but it was like they use like a lot of in their pastries, because I had like guava duff from there. I had bread. And I had their flour cakes. What is it
Yes,
called?
flower pop.
I'm
It
not
ain't
sure.
flower pop. I know what you're
forget
talking
the
about,
name,
though.
the flour cake
I know
thing.
exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, and they all have like a nutmeggy, cinnamony
Yes.
flavor. And it like and even the way they make like sauce and stew fish and boil fish and the way they bake bread. The bread in Eleuthera tastes different from the bread in Andres. You know, so it's like every island has their culture, and
They
that's
have
just
their own
talking,
little
that's
identity,
just
yeah.
talking about food. But even if you look at the way they do Junkanoo, right, and the way they have like these different, because we started off talking about Junkanoo, right, like all the different cultural expressions, like it varies. But when everybody is migrating and concentrated in one place, a lot of that is lost, right? Because you don't have anybody to really carry on the legacy of
Well,
those
Nassau's
islands.
culture takes
And
over.
so we're
really.
seeing like a
lot of
not
pride.
really because like I said, okay, so here's an example. My great grandmother and people in my family, like the older members of my family who are dying out. I think only one more person. My family from Eleuthera knows how to bake bread the way they bake bread, you know, and it's so good.
And I probably can
And
die without.
and it's going to die. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there are a lot of and you know, our grandparents and great grandparents, there are a lot of recipes and a lot of skills, right? Like straw making and different things and the way they sewed their clothes and designed things.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna be honest, Crystal.
That died with them.
Do we
Even
really-
architecture, right?
the straw work
a
thing,
lot
right?
of those things have died with
I think
them.
that's as far as it goes, though.
What do you mean?
Is every time I've been to the straw market over the years, it's like because I've been to like several places in this region, like for instance, Grand Cayman. You could just go Georgetown Grand Cayman and go to their craft market, which kind of does literally the same things as our straw market at this point. It's much smaller. But you literally will find the exact same shirts, exact same trinkets, a lot of the same souvenirs and stuff that we sell.
If you go to Jamaica, if you
Same
go to
thing.
Trinidad,
Same thing.
Because I've been.
They just stamp a different thing on it and say made in China, but this the Bahamas flag on it instead.
Yeah, in the bag, I say in the tags and in the labels, they all say made in China.
So basically,
you know the
it's-
crazy thing? I saw some of the same bags that were in the straw market here in Walmart.
yeah.
Wow, I was like Walmart.
Everything comes from China. Anyway, anyway, joining us also on Zoom, is our resident Freeportian for now, for the next 2 weeks, Tate, you there?
Can you all hear me?
Tate, you sound tired, man. What's
Dave,
happening?
You don't care about us anymore.
I just got back from a walk, so I'm a little
Oh, he was walking night.
He healthy.
You was walking night.
Yeah, man, I was walking now.
Oh, so when y'all power off, because you know the electricity twice as expensive now in Freeport,
Oh yeah, your powers go off now.
y'all
right?
can walk the streets of Freeport without getting robbed. That's amazing. You know, Nassau is a really safe city.
No,
I'm being
boy.
very facetious.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife.
Because as they say, Tate, fellas are there trying to see you.
Oh, my God.
Listen, I have to say, just going on Facebook and every time there's a major arrest or something big happens and seeing how that same story plays out versus what the police say versus
Did
what on
you see
social
the
media.
concrete? Y'all saw the thing, the guns that they put in concrete. Is that like a normal thing?
Yeah, but yeah,
Really?
But, yeah, but we have a
That is
police
so-
officer now who have to answer for a case
That
for
is
some
so-
cocaine
and
trafficking.
that was so creative. I was like, why was it like symbolic or something? I didn't really.
You know, at this
understand.
point in this country, I feel like everybody who has the ability
That was so
to
dramatic.
bring in drugs and coke, Tate, with the powers of the state, I'm not going to say is doing so, but every part of this equation that has to be like you have to go to like customs, etc. There has to be somebody, one or two people or more, facilitating this process, man. Because I've seen I don't know if it ever made it to the news, but there was supposedly some gun bust this week, and the pictures just went around on social media. And the first thing I said was, like, take these guns like brand new, man. like they ain't even come with the box good. The tag was on one or two of them, and I was like, this is insanity in this place. And now you're seeing this police officer got to answer for a case And then the situation's still going on with the federal courts in the United States and
Right.
those, what is it, 8 Bahamians? In that gun and cocaine trafficking case. And it's like,
It's not looking good.
you know, and looking at the increase, especially this week and last week too, of like drive-by shootings, the
Oh my gosh, the murder rate.
explosion of violence.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's like violence is a new thing in Nassau. Like this is not Afghanistan for a reason, man. But it's like hearing that and then hearing the commissioner of police now basically just gaslight you. People feel already safer, Tate. It's I almost feel like there are 3 worlds. It's like the world we all live in and experience every day, the world they tell us, and then the world that they create. Because we obviously know that you have, and I hate using this term, but I'll use it for the sake of this argument. You have some bad apples. Like you had on the Defense Force, where Defense Force Marine was
Oh man, those bad apples.
was
man.
molesting children, well, boys in particular.
No, allegedly.
Yes,
Yeah,
allegedly. He's
that's not-
allegedly
yeah.
molesting
Yeah.
boys
You know, I'm shocked at that.
and using the camp to do it, and it's like allegedly.
Well. Here, so you know, they always say, like in schools and stuff, you know, predators. And I'm not saying that he is a predator, but like just generally speaking, like predators, they seek out spaces like that, and sometimes, like as adults, we're not really sharp enough to detect whether or not. But here it is again. So, you know, if you have a program for kids, right? There should be checks, right? You should be evaluating people. You should be doing tests. And weren't we supposed to be doing some tests and reevaluations and training for the police and
Okay.
and
I have
law
a great.
enforcement?
I love that you said that.
Anyway,
Before I forget, I want to
let's
say
do
this.
that,
Yes.
especially for people who are dealing with kids,
Here's how they do it in the United
right?
States.
To make sure that
Crystal, here's how they do it. Tate, I'm sure we've all been through this, where you fill out a visa application or something of the sort, or you are entering the country and you fly a particular airline from Nassau and you are trying to check in. They ask you a set of questions. One of the questions they ask you that people always think is absurd, quite literally, Tate, is, are you a terrorist? Are you toting guns?
Yeah.
Is there drugs in your bag? And if you answer no to those questions, like most sane people would, and you do in fact end up being a terrorist, end up having drugs or guns in your bag, that's an additional set of charges they slap you with.
Exactly.
So what I think we should be doing is, if you want to join the police force, do you have a sexual proclivity towards little boys and girls? Do you have whatever? Make them make declarations.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
that's
And
what
once
I
they
was
make
getting
those declarations, and if they break the law and then violate the same things that they said that they didn't join this place for, they wasn't going to do, they signed an oath to say they was going to do this, you charge them based on that. Although in this country, I don't think it'll matter, because you could charge people with 90 things and they only serve in 7 years because we do concurrent,
but
not
at
consecutive,
but at
no,
the
concurrent,
same time, to you know, help save face and all, you know, and for accountability, you should be able to say, well, when this person was evaluated and tested and brought on to the whatever agency this was, they did a test, and in their test, there were no signs of blah 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 blah, but we are currently investigating. So that they at least they have a record to say that we did all that we could do to make sure that these people
Who's we?
are the Bahamas, like the government, the
police force?
national,
The defense force?
Yeah, the national intelligence. What is? Sorry,
Hey, Krista, you funny lady.
what do you call it again?
We have a national intelligence agency.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean what do you call it? The law enforcement.
RBPF, RBDF?
No, the
Ministry of National Security?
National Security. So yes, the Ministry of National Security should have all those records, right? So that they're able to pull those things, right? And it could be in the section under the defense force,
You funny,
or whoever it is.
Like you are dead funny.
But like I said, it helps with accountability. It helps with public trust, because they could say, well, you know, it was not the fault of the law enforcement or the government, because the government did all they could to make sure that this person was a safe person, but they slipped through the cracks. And so then you could say, yeah, he's a bad apple. But if you don't even know what people is be into, we always see it's not surprising to see people who are in law enforcement look in the newspaper this week, like in the papers and charged with
but
trafficking,
what it does, Crystal,
rape,
yes, there's tons of officers,
there's so many
and
different
I agree.
things.
But the problem is, though, Crystal, is
And
from
it's
a public standpoint.
There should be more.
Hold on, from a public
on our end
standpoint,
to say that.
how do you then trust these agencies with your child? If you want your child to join the Royal Bahamas Defense Force
program?
The Rangers?
They have multiple programs, for kids and youth in
yes, they do.
All of these.
Yes,
Yeah,
and they
under all of
oftentimes
that.
serve very well, in my opinion, from what I've seen, underprivileged communities within this country.
Yes, and
but
it's good. I think what they're doing is a good thing overall. Like
it's kind of like
good.
it's kind of like, imagine if that show was named Scared Straight or whatever version that we had here, Shock Treatment or whatever.
Shock treatment. Oh gosh. Oh.
Dying too far off from some of the things that's happening in Rangers, right? But it's like, imagine that, but the instructors just buggering children. It's just
Okay,
Go ahead, Tate.
Exactly what happens in Rangers.
Huh?
That is exactly what
Yes.
happens in Rangers.
Yeah, they rough them up a little bit, but
I
that's
was
like
in Rangers.
Go ahead, Tate.
you was in Rangers.
Yes, he was.
I was in Rangers. Yes.
Oh my God.
I spent I spent about 2 years in high school in Rangers. My first was a brown shirt, and then I made it out to a gray shirt. But I only went because I was having behavioral challenges in high school. And so I remember my worst experience was probably like, and this isn't too severe, but I always remember because I feel like the punishment, and I put punishment in upper quotes, but I feel the punishment for what I did was like unnecessary, right? So I think one day they'd asked us to memorize, I think, Rangers' motto or like their pledge or something like that. And, I didn't care about the program too much. I just went there because I was being forced to go there, right? And so because I didn't remember the pledge, the guy told me, and it had rained the day before, and so there were puddles all over the school grounds that I was at. He told me to go in this dirty puddle, roll back and forth in it, and then do like 100 jumping jacks and some push-ups. And like I remember that being like the worst experience that I've ever had with Rangers. So it's like they treat you very horrible there. And I do think that some of those instructors don't have any business being around children.
And that's a personal anecdote.
I did Rangers as well, actually.
Yeah,
I dropped out like immediately. And my reasoning for dropping out immediately was, I had learned, Tate, I have to find a very censored way of saying this. I learned that there are female predators in this country.
Oh, gee.
Yes. The first time in my life I ever got groped was by a woman when I was in that program. And I was like, and it happened in front of everybody. And I was like, what am I supposed to do? And I was like, if I complain about it, they can be like, but you like my boy. So I was like, yeah, I just can stand there and take it. And that's what I did. And my lady was like, you going back to Rangers? And you know what I said? Absolutely not.
But at least you had a choice. A lot of parents force their children into the program for different reasons.
I was ready to do GGY, but I was on that right.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I understand for, like military training and stuff, they have like, it's like a certain standard or it's a certain way that they train. But if students are in it for other reasons, it should be like a little bit more, I guess the program should be a little bit more nuanced. You know what I mean? So you don't have to be that hardcore for rolling in the mud and stuff. Like these kids in high school.
It's about discipline, right?
Yeah, but that I don't understand the discipline message from that.
The message
a lot of it seems like disrespect, especially if you watch the shows that are associated with these things, and you see how the children are treated, the juveniles are treated. Like it's like, it's.
I'm gonna say something controversial.
It's not very empowering.
I think that method is fine if you exist in a...
I think it's fine if you want to do that
I know.
for a career.
Let me finish. I was going to say, I think it's fine if you exist in a country that has a... I'm just going to say it how I understand it best. If you live in a country that has like a real government and you actually have checks and balances in these things, and that if someone violates your rights while in the process of this program, like there's actual real recourse, because I'm pretty positive this isn't the first time something like this has ever happened. In this place, it just feels like Tate. I don't know. I don't want to say what I want to say, but because then people can tell me that's unpatriotic, but I'm just saying like it's I don't know. But kudos to those who managed to matriculate to this program. But yeah, when you deal with situations like this and guys like this, just like basically bothering your children or trying to bugger your children. Allegedly. I will say allegedly. I also think that people who fondle and bugger children should be put to death, in my opinion. You should face the death penalty, because more often than not, it is not their first offense. This is just the first time they get catch. I feel the same way about rapists in general, actually. But that's a whole other conversation. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Oh, we're not?
Just keep going.
Oh, okay. Let me tell you something with Jesus. I don't know if you ever told. Won't he do it?
There it is.
Wait, find what you love and let it kill you. Sharp under pressure, thinking diamond. All eyes on me like a conductor. That means just play your role, you might get chime in. Wait, play the game to change the game. Word to Gooch, that's my hitter. Your wave is living in the moment, My wave is living, but I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I'm doing, baby. Say I know what I'm doing. Talk about a revolution.
There it is.
Wait.
There it is.
Wait.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
When it comes to hearts at Cleveland Clinic, you can't miss a beat. You seek the best care possible, work with the brightest minds, and leave no stone unturned to get to the heart of the matter. Because understanding is always the first step to overcoming. For every heart in the world, see how we're advancing the future of heart care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Girl, you see how Cora eye look funny, all black up yesterday?
But she say she bump into a wall when she's running after the churn dam.
Yeah, but last Saturday, you see her arm was all black and blue, right?
What you saying? You think something wrong between her and Jack?
I ain't sure, but you know Jack is a jealous man. I hear him and Cora last Friday. I hear him say he hear Cora have eyes for Junior.
Now you know that ain't true. Cora is a good woman, does mind her business, take care of them churn, and go to church every Sunday. So what you think we should do?
I think we should report Jack, you know. Cora don't say nothing, but silence hides violence, and we don't want to line up in the cemetery.
Not me. I ain't getting in nobody business. Then Jack come after me and I land up next to Cora.
No, man, we could call a text Crime Stopper. And remember, we can even get some grocery money for our tip.
Remind me again, how does this work?
We can call them in Miami at 328-TIPS or 328-8477. Or when we in the island, call toll-free at 300-TIPS or 300-8477. And if you don't have no minutes, use the Crack Crime Bahamas app and we could text them and the messages get on mix up before it leave your phone so nobody can know what you saying.
So what we waiting on then? Let's go earn some grocery money.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
And welcome back to the Eye Opener, your weekly dose of something just a little bit different. I'm one of your hosts, Dawn. Joining me in studio is Crystal, and on Zoom is Tate, our resident Freeportian. Now, for those of you that know, and those who don't know, there is a storm traveling that's basically hovering menacingly in the Northern Caribbean. We're supposed to feel just some of the outer bands are. There has been a report, an update this morning from the Department of Meteorology. I always mess this up. Meteorology, us with the urology to medias. I'm going to read it. It says, Erin is rapidly strengthening. Outer rain bands beginning to affect the northern Leeward Islands. At 5 a.m. EDT, the center of Hurricane Erin was located near latitude 19.8 degrees north and longitude 61.1 degrees west, or about 170 miles northeast of Anguilla. Erin is moving towards 20 miles an hour. The motion is expected to continue through the weekend with a gradual decrease in forward speed. A turn towards the north is expected. We all hope that it continues to do that. To occur early next week. On the forecast track, the center of Erin is expected to move just north of the northern Leeward Islands, the Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, over the weekend. Maximum sustained winds are near 120 miles an hour with higher gusts. Erin is a Category 3 hurricane at the moment. Continued rapid strengthening is expected. Erin is forecast to become a Category 4 hurricane later today. If we get any updates before the show is over today, we will absolutely be giving you guys some updates. But the storm is supposed to turn north. Unfortunately, our good friends and our good Prime Minister's good friends in Bermuda will be getting a graze or basically a sidewall impact from the storm. But yes, please keep abreast. There's an app you can also download if you want to see a live track of the storm or any storm or weather system traveling, called Windy. You can go on the website, windy.com. That is WINDY.com. There's an app. Again, it's called WINDY. WINDY.
Windy.
And you can track basically the forecast for up to, I think, about 10 days out from any particular day. You can see the various weather models, whether it's the GFS, the European model, because the American model is soon to disappear because they defunded NOAA. But it's going to be great. Yes, so beware. Get your hurricane kit. Don't get catch last minute. I'm going to the food store and buying water for $17. Anyway, bit of a gear change. Crystal.
Yes. So today we have some very exciting guests in the studio here to talk about the Dundas Center for the Performing Arts Black Box Open Mic Night Friendraiser. We have Nadine Brown, who is the coordinator for the Black Box Open Mic Night. We also know her from the Roots and Culture Show, also know her from The Hub, which used to be the spot downtown. So this is Nadine's the most recent project, working with the Dundas. And also, we have a local celebrity in our midst, kind of veteran at this point, Tanash. So thank you so much for joining us this morning on the Eye Opener.
I know only one of his songs, and it's the most famous song in the universe. You don't know the song?
I want to know which one.
Yeah, man. La Bongi, you ain't never heard the song?
Oh my God, Don.
It's the truth. It's on TikTok and
okay.
You chicken and talking.
Okay. So let's just jump into it. Nadine, so what is the Black Box Open Mic all about?
Black Box Open Mic is a forum for the community of artists. It is inclusive, so it's all genres are welcome, and we actually started it because we wanted to bring friends to the Dundas. It started as a fundraiser, but it's currently a fundraiser. And so this month we have Tanash, who has more than one songs, by the way.
Yes, he does.
And very good stuff. So we feature artists from the community, the ones that are well known. And of course, the open mic is open to the people in the community who can come out and share their talent. And it's more than twofold, actually, because what we're doing is providing a space for people to cut their teeth. Mm-hmm. If you're a performer and you want to come out and you have a ready-made audience, you don't have to plan a showcase or nothing. We're different from the other open mics in that we are actually set up for a show, because it's the Dundas. We have the stage, we have the lighting, we have the people, and you are able to see what you're doing and do it with our
and
full
get the
support.
feedback too.
Exactly. Yeah. And and I've been on a couple of shows this week. I really want to shout out the volunteers who come out to assist with this project. There are 12 of them. Specifically, Michelle, Crystal, Josh, wherever you are, we're looking for you. Josh, Jason, Pascal. Am I missing anybody? Cherry, Danielle. Oh my gosh. Yes, just wanted to give that shout out. Joel and EJ, right? And there are others as well, but those are the most active ones. And currently we're also looking for volunteers because, we get tired. We're not getting paid for this. It's done solely out of love for the Dundas. So we're looking for volunteers, anyone who has anything to offer us by way of photography. And you don't even have to do it every month. You can, hit me up and come out to do, because we need to share what's going on there, so people can understand that this is for the community. And the Dundas, if you don't come out, it's gonna vanish. And
you don't got a new roof now, man. Stop that.
We have new. Okay, so we have gotten an injection of a little bit of capital, but what people don't understand is that it's an ongoing thing.
It is.
So that money is gonna get eaten up pretty quickly after refurbishment. And
I think, and with you saying that too, Nadine, I think what people don't realize is that, you have like the Cancer Society, you have the Red Cross, you have the AIDS, Foundation and all these, and Parkinson's and everyone else. They have ongoing initiatives every single year to raise funds. Hands for Hunger does Paradise Place. Like they have all of these initiatives every year because running these operations, although they are charities and community based projects, they require funding for just functions, right? Operational. So they're running lights, water. They're putting, they're training people.
Right.
People have an opportunity to hone their skills, and there aren't much spaces currently in the Bahamas for creative people, right? The orange economy and creatives to really hone their skills. Now it's a growing sector, and this initiative is a good thing because now it's another door that's open for people to really express themselves.
So how I could buy tickets and come to the thing?
Well, just come to the door.
Really?
Yeah, it's $10. at the door, and it's $5 to perform. Again, it's a charity thing. We don't get any money from this. All the money goes to maintaining.
Should really get Dwight Schrute up there.
Well,
Yeah.
we try to give a stipend to our featured performers. It's not a lot,
Encourage, yeah.
but it's just to show that we appreciate. We know they're worth way more than what we're offering them, and yeah, so that's what we want you to do. Come out and don't feel bad. We might have to raise it next year, but it's all in an effort to support you, the artist, to support the community, to get new people coming over to the Dundas, to introduce them to what it is. Yeah.
And
Tate, you have a
you have
question?
something?
Tate?
Sorry, no.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So
Not on my end, no.
These Freeport guys, man.
So how do artists like Tanash and so you said this year, so you said this event is on August 22nd, that's next Friday.
Right.
And how do artists like Tanash and I see you have Allion Rose as well performing. How do they like really benefit and contribute and kind of create another layer to this whole initiative?
How
artists that you feature, how do they create another layer and what other artists have you featured in the past?
So I think it helps young artists to inspire them a lot, come out because they're able to network with these artists, ask them questions, talk to them, see them up close and get inspired. The featured artists get their music out. We take them around to media. They get media support from us as well. And so it's just like a symbiotic relationship all the way around. What was the other question, Nick?
Oh, I was saying who have you featured in the past?
Oh, so our first feature November past was Judah the Lion, who's always willing to support things like this. We've had Shad Fur, we've had Abia, who's a really great female singer, guitarist. She's just all around great. We've had Sherwood, who is also always willing to support things like this.
Some goats right
Okay.
So I gotta ask.
We're hoping
And
to
Chase
have
Fernanda.
more.
There was Chase Fernanda.
Chase
before
Fernanda.
Yes.
And,
Is it because I'm friends with you on Facebook, right? Is it Tone Ash or Tanash?
I was gonna get to that. It's actually Ton.
Oh,
Because that's what I say. I say,
God.
Tone. I say Tone Ash
I'm
every time I
very-
read it.
My name is Ash Ton.
so you flip it around.
I
Oh,
don't
wow.
say Ash Tin. I don't say Ash.
You know, Behaviors just put an I where O is.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just flip it Ton Ash. So people can understand it's Ash Ton.
Okay. So Tonash. Okay. So can you tell us a little bit of your journey as an artist? So how did it all start for you?
I know. I know this is what has happened with every BMN artist. But it's just start off like just having fun, just clowning around, like back in school. Just rewriting songs you're already hearing on the radio, Just now when I say rewriting it, you're rewriting. You hear what they say. You're just rewriting different words in the spot to make it jokey, and people liking it and stuff like that. So, come from that to me getting more serious, because then it's at a point too where you always was there. BMNs can't rap, BMNs can't make good music. And I didn't believe that, so I became a part of that group. It just was like I could show them we could actually make good music. We could produce good videos and stuff like that. So that's what really got me going to start it off, you know what I mean?
Okay. And who or what were your biggest influences creatively?
Locally?
Locally or internationally, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I started off with rap. Rap was everything for me. I think it was Ludacris was my first favorite rapper.
Yeah, I was thinking Chief Keef. Anyway, continue.
Ludacris, fabulous. I like the New York sound. I like the New York rappers. Jay-Z, Jadakiss, them, fabulous. G on it.
Yeah.
Eventually, I grew to like Lil Wayne and them, because I wasn't really into the South type music or whatever.
Yeah.
As I grow, I started to mature and just accept and like more, more music.
Okay, good. So we're gonna sample some of your music tonight. We have one of your songs, "Girl I Wanna," that we're gonna play a little bit.
That's my first Reagan Scrape.
On the radio.
Oh, you do Reagan Scrape as well?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. For like a solid year, it was like one song from Tonash that was playing everywhere, and it was Labungi. So I just sang it, and it was like every video, you knew what it was about.
Oh my God.
Being serious. And that's how I knew. It's like, he really serious with his music thing.
Yeah, man.
Oh, there it is.
I would drink you like rum.
Oh my God.
Girl, I wanna hold you like a cup of Henny. Lick
Oh, I
you
heard
like
the song.
so slam you like God, or love you like Christmas bonus. Squeeze you like my last dollar. Kiss you like food was good. Touch you like road on Friday. Need you like a trip day Zuma. Tell your ma and your pa that they did something special. There's a rhythm in my heart when you're the one I'm next to. And I don't wanna lose that. If I did it, be a news flash. Saying donkey on the loose, that is always your excuse. I be begging, kissing boots, making promises to you. Like, girl, I wanna
Video of the child.
lick you like food so slam. Slam you like God, love you like Christmas bonus.
So I expect to see you at a regatta sometime soon then.
Yeah, man, we getting there.
Yeah. I never been to a regatta in my life, and I need to make this happen.
Yeah.
I need to go to when the next regatta is. Someone can tell me.
I got you.
And there's so many.
I didn't even know
The
that.
thing is, they're on so many different islands. If you
Exactly.
never like, it's like when is the next one?
need to go on
And then it's
somebody boat.
regattas, and then it's homecoming,
Homecoming
and you don't
regattas,
want to
yeah.
get them mixed up, right?
I know the objective is to get boys up at all of them though.
Yeah,
That's-
just so the listeners know, so the song you just heard was "Girl I Wanna" by Tonash, and it sounds amazing. So let's go into more into more of that. Is this your first time doing an open mic night, Tonash? I know you've been doing this a very long time, but performances, concerts, but open mics. Is this like your first time doing an open mic?
I think no. I don't think so. You know, back we had volume bar. Does that count? Open mic? I mean, you may just go there.
Yeah,
that's an open mic. Yeah, that's an open
Alright,
mic.
yeah, so.
Okay. And so how do and Nadine, could you expand a little bit on how events like this really highlight and promote local artists? And have you heard any feedback from people, not like Tanash, who's a celebrity, but regular people who are like trying to make a name for themselves? Have you heard any feedback from them about how the open mic that you started, you said last November, has been empowering, people in the creative community?
Well, it is empowering. Otherwise, people wouldn't keep coming out. So, but yes, a lot of feedback from young artists who actually look forward to this every month. We actually paused for 2 months so we could get some rest. And we got a lot of emails and things, from people who were wondering when it would come back. Because again, I think that it's the only open mic on the island where you can facilitate this sort of thing without people drinking and talking. Like you're the sole focus, right? So it helps them with their craft. And as for things like this in the country, it's very needed because how else are people going to practice, I remember when the show I had way back when was the only one on the island.
The Hub. You mean the Hub?
It was Express Yourself. The place was called the Hub.
Oh, okay.
Right, ran by Margot Bethel and Jonathan Murray. It was a warehouse and it was an art gallery. So and it was held every single week on a Wednesday, and it would be so packed with people from across
the spectrum of this country.
Every piece you could think of. And it was such a coming together, and it was and our thing back then. Shout out to Patricia Chatty, who had the Make 'em Listen movement back then as well, and people like Tada, who were trying to create spaces for artists to come out and just be able to showcase. Because the thing back then was that Bahamians don't listen to Bahamians.
Well, they don't support.
Right, they don't support them, but that was a lie because every single time it would be like really packed out, and so spaces like this, I'm so happy to see them springing up. I'd like to shout out Michelle, I can't remember her last name, from Compass Point, who's had the longest
Studio Cafe.
running Studio Cafe open mic now after me, because I was the longest, and then Michelle kept going. So now she's been the longest on the island. Shouts out to people like Shad Fur, who has his thing over there by Four Walls, and every other corporate people who are now supporting the open mic. It might just be to get capital, but we don't care, you know. It's just putting the arts out there, which is very necessary, because when you have the arts, the young people have something else to do other than rob and kill.
This is true, because, you know, fellas just want to see them.
They need somewhere to let off all the tension.
That really brings the
that's
show
why
kind of
it's very
full circle,
important.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
boy.
Yeah.
Barking boy, you at the AK and say, fellas want to see him. So that's why, you know, I think it'd be a good alternative. Obviously.
It really is.
Also, the comment about Bahamians not being able to rap, right? Like, I don't know if people ever like tried. It is so much easier, and I know they make fun of like UK rappers all the time. It is so much easier to mimic UK rap. It's so simple because the way that they speak is just very sing-songy already. But like for the way that Bahamians talk, even if you just listen to other Bahamian rappers try to do it, or Bahamian artists, and they do it in a Bahamian accent, it's
good.
like it's challenging to do for sure. Like it ain't. You can't just pick up a microphone and just copy the same thing the same way.
I even think a challenge.
I don't know what you
It's
mean.
just a matter of confidence.
I don't know what
you
you
just gotta
mean.
be confident.
No, I don't know what you mean by challenging.
What I mean by challenging is like if I were to copy, let's say, for example, UK drill, it's just.
Oh, you mean the uniqueness?
2 plus 2 is 4. It's just like it's dead simple.
All right, big shot.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Don't let them hear you say that though. It's deeper than that.
I'm not the only person to say that. But yes, you're right.
I'm pretty
That's
sure
just
it's
that
for them.
type
For, yeah,
of music.
yeah.
Well, they have a problem.
And
well,
they have different. They have
They
different
definitely do.
strains.
Their
as well.
their situation in the UK is shockingly across the pond, especially this side of the world. We know more. Well, most people know more of the comedians that do UK drill rap just like as a joke and masquerade as an artist than actual artists. And that's not a knock on any artist like Central C or any of the rest of them. It's just because that's happened. That same situation hasn't happened in the Bahamas, where like you have people who doing this as a joke, and then when that actually does cross to the puddle of water we have to the States, and these artists start to get noticed, it isn't like the joke artists come up first. Like people like Tanash, and I think we had once upon a time Nassau Brigante and several others. So I don't know. I find it very much so difficult to, with the Bahamian accent, to do that. That's just my opinion. Maybe I'm just not.
I think it's different. I think it's different styles and types. So like I wouldn't generalize the UK rap because they have so many different variations of how they do it, and they just like in the States they have like a drill and trap and this and that, and like there's so many different strains of how they produce it, right? How they produce the music and the songs. I feel like here it's the same because I've heard Bahamian rappers and I've heard different styles, and some flow to me from my ear. Because all of it is foreign because it's a fairly new genre. Even if it's 10 years old, 15 years old. Blair, I am a huge fan of Blair. He was on the show before, by the way, if anybody remembers.
Okay, I always get a little weirded out when people say you're imitating music because music is not static. It grows and it changes. And even if you look at UK rap, they're imitating the US and then eventually became
it becomes its own thing. But even Rake and Scrape, like it has its origins from all over the Caribbean, from Calypso. There's little bits of ska and then there's Cuban music in there. And then those pieces of music come from other genres of music that are now dead. Like Goombay music was a thing we had, but wasn't universally unique to the Bahamas. It borrowed from different things in the region
and became something on its own.
So like we are, whether we want to admit it, the Bahamas is quite a cultural melting pot of sorts. And as a result of that, like things blend and mix and we pour things in. Like even Julian Believe's story with music as well is technically what Bahamians consider unorthodox, but it's not. It's pretty buck standard of how we do music. Things you always pour in something. Most people, just mix the white and the dark room all the time.
Yep.
What's interesting is fusion music. Bahamian fusion has, I don't know if it's a big thing lately, but it's been a thing from that time, you know.
Yeah.
I know that Sammy Star did some fusion music with Ronnie Butler before. And maybe if the artist did look into that kind of, to make it their own.
And I know a while back too, there was like some controversy. So remember when Baha Men came out, and then they had that big hit, "Who Let the Dogs Out," which I think is probably the biggest Bahamian artist song ever. That you know, like global.
Crazy.
Yeah, that
They still perform it.
people still exactly, and people still put it on
media,
social media. Yeah, it still makes its rounds, so it's still like super popular. But there was controversy because they said, well, this isn't Bahamian music, right? Because it's not like the traditional, it's not a rake and scrape or a gumbe or a calypso song. It is something that is a fusion, more or less, of many different styles that comes together, and was also highlighted. So it varies, and it proves that there is room for that in the world, and that people just, I think we need to give Bahamians and the world and the community and everybody time to kind of be introduced to different styles of music and different types of music. Bahamian rap is a subset of Bahamian music, whether we like it or not, right? There's a lot of arguments that, oh, it's not
Bahamian
real Bahamian music, blah, blah, blah.
Bahamian rap.
B-rap. Okay, they have Korean rap, right? So they have K-rap. Or people call it crap. This is a joke. It's a joke. But yeah, they have it in every... It's so good. It's
Another
so good.
quick shout
But
out though to Mike Check. I don't know if you know about the Red Mike
Yes.
Check performance.
I've seen
You check them out.
Oh,
It's-
yes.
All right, now that, my mind just ran some younger rappers on there
Yes.
who sound Bahamian.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
the best way to put it. And
I
they sound
love
good.
it. I think
that's the way to
so
go.
go there.
Yeah,
Listen.
I love it.
If you have any doubts about how Bahamian can rap and sound good, go check out their page and look them up. I can't remember the name exactly, but it's one of the later videos.
Yeah.
And they say they sound Bahamian. They sound like just how we talking right now.
Yes,
And they
yes.
sound good.
It is beautiful.
We'd love to
I
have a
love
rap
it.
battle at
Oh,
the Black Box
yeah, we
at
should
some
do a
point.
rap
So what's the date? How can people get tickets to support, and what can they expect?
Well, the people who'd like to perform can sign up online with our link. We have some links on our pages, on our Instagram page and
What's
Facebook
your Instagram page?
The Instagram is the Black Box Open Mic.
The underscore
The
black
unders-
underscore
right.
black
Black
underscore
box,
box.
Someone do the homework.
Right. That's
Yes.
it. And
Yes.
on Facebook,
On Facebook, it's the
same
black
thing.
box. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, yeah.
So just look for the link.
Mm-hmm.
Click on the link if you'd like to sign up, and the spectators just can come in person, pay at the door,
yeah.
and
You'll
leave
know-
a donation as well. You know, we're open to those.
What can they expect? Will there be libations?
Libations galore.
Any snacks, food, wings, things?
Well, this month we have what's that? The name of that? I can't remember. But we will have a food truck.
Oh, y'all doing big things.
Every month we do have a food truck.
So you feature different Bahamian
different
business. Okay.
Bahamian businesses and experiences outside. So come at 7:00 to play with them things that Pascal puts out. Interact.
arts and
Yes.
arts.
Okay, and you say it's $10?
$10.
What's the
only.
date and time?
It's the 22nd of August, which is next week Friday. So come at 7. The show starts at 8.
Okay.
Doors open 7. Showtime 8.
Tate, you can go back to Nassau the time zoning. Hold on, I think Tate disappeared.
We lost him.
His power bank gone off, free boy.
Yeah, they in and
Going
out.
through it, boy.
I'm still there. I'm gonna be there on the 28th.
Oh, you coming back to Nassau?
Yeah, just for like a day.
Oh, you. Oh, okay. Welcome back to Afghanistan, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Nadine and Tanash, for coming on the show today. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we're back, we're going to go back into the news. Thank you so much for coming in.
Gracias.
And be sure to go to the Black Box Open Mic.
There it is. Wait, find what you love and let it kill you. Sharp under pressure, thick and diamond. All eyes on me like a conductor. That means about a revolution. There it is. Wait.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Have you taken a look at those investment options yet?
Too busy. Look at today. Workout, breakfast, drop kids at school, back-to-back meetings, dog from the groomer, nails. And that's all before 12. How come you're so chill?
That's because my money is as busy as you.
At RF, we find the best Bahamian and international investments to keep your money busy so you can spend more time focusing on you. Contact us at rfgroup.com to find out more. RF, money at work.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone. What you mean? He take picture of that good for nothing boy? Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child. So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there cause the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send picture direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas, then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried it the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Welcome back to the Eye Opener, your weekly or something that would be different. I love doing that. I'm one of your hosts, John. Joining me in the studio is Crystal and Tate Adderley via Zoom from Freeport. If Tate is still there, because, you know, Freeport has been having lots of challenges recently with high electricity costs and electricity just going out.
That's usually how it's happened, oh man.
Yes, we're going to jump in.
And Nadine
Tate,
is also
you're there.
with us.
Oh yes, Nadine is also still in studio with us. She decided to join the conversation. You know, we have very spicy talks on the show. Tate, you still there?
I'm still there, yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes. Tate, your internet sounding awakened again. What's going on? You switched to Starlink.
No, man, not yet. Well, I don't trust Starlink, but that's a whole nother conversation.
Hey, man, you can't trust nobody. Anyway, that's a whole nother conversation that we can't have on air because, you know, national security. Anyway, we got to jump into the weather report because, you know, the weather be a weathering on the 16th of August, 2025.
So today's weather forecast for August 16, 2025 is partly to mostly cloudy with a high near 90 degrees Fahrenheit and winds east-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour, a 16% chance of rain. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low of 79 degrees Fahrenheit and winds east-northeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour and a 9% chance of rain. Please continue to follow us here on Guardian Radio throughout the week for updates on the Hurricane Erin now that is traveling nearby. So, And that is your weather forecast for August 16, 2025.
Brigham Bram. So, we got to talk about the thing. No, the thing I'm about to say, right?
No.
What's been happening this week?
The hurricane?
Tate, you know what I'm talking about, right?
I'm a little bit lost.
Wow. None of y'all been following the news?
Of course. Listen to the Guardian Radio
Good
every day.
Lord. I was going to say the same thing happens every week. Nothing changes, does it? Some things change. Some things absolutely change. We spoke earlier, obviously, about the Black Box situation. Just a final shout out to that. You can hit them up on Instagram, _black_box, or on Facebook as the Black Box. The event is the 22nd
of August, so that's next Friday.
Next week, Friday, 22nd of August. Starts at 7. It's only $10 to get in. I'm sure the libations are nice and libation-y. There will be food served. You get to support local artists. Also support the Dundas. Things happen at the Dundas. Hopefully things continue to do so. But no, this week, the same thing we talked about last week, unfortunately, has once again sprung up. And Christy raised an interesting point, too. So the Q2 numbers came out. So I'll just give some context here. The Q2 numbers came out from the United States for housing. To give you some context of what I'm talking about. Housing in terms of the cost of a house and the cost of property. So let me pull up the number right quick. It is $423,000 is the median cost of a house in the United States. Tate, guess how much it is in New Providence? Well, not New Providence, the Bahamas in general. No, it ain't that high, man. Come on, y'all. It's the
150,000.
Oh, Jesus Christ, Chris! You wish it was $150,000. No, it's $690,000. Apparently for the Q1, there are 2 real estate agencies that are citing this. Something interesting has come up once again. We're in the middle of a hurricane season again. A storm is currently traveling. We're bulldozing a shanty town, well, multiple shanty towns. One in New Providence. Probably they're supposed to begin demolition of shanty towns in Abaco again. So these people will be displaced again. And I don't think there's sufficient housing for these people again. I know 2 people who live in Abaco who I watched them on social media go through their journey of trying to find an apartment because they had to move out of their apartment they were in, and that seemed like that was hell because the availability isn't there. So you got to when some come up.
Yeah, and Abaco is really bustling too. Like Abaco is
bustling food up, but
Yeah. No. I mean, like, so it'll be there's like a higher demand, right? So in a lot of family islands, the property isn't like super expensive compared to Nassau, But Abaco is one.
I thought that was the case.
Pricey.
And I saw some of these real estate companies, and I know they're obviously selling luxury properties. But these prices, man, on average median was being like over $1 million a piece. Now, I'm presuming a lot of these properties are gigantic, not gigantic, but large or acre-front, ocean-front properties. The government is probably racking in a substantial amount of revenue from this. But the problem that this is highlighting is the cost of owning a home in this country has exponentially continuing to increase because the cost of materials have gone up due to inflation in the United States. And the reason I'm bringing this up in the first place, especially the shantytown issue, is when you look at the data of wages, right? And I know I chirp about this all the time. When you adjust for inflation and purchasing power parity, Bahamians in 1992 make just a little bit more than Bahamians right now when you adjust, which is kind of freaky. I think they made when you adjust somewhere around $37,000 in terms of purchasing power. The average Bahamian, at least according to the statistics, that doesn't mean everybody is reflected in this because GDP per capita is nonsense. But it's about $32,000. So think about that for a second. What I'm trying to say is, last year when I looked at the data, I think we were somewhere in the $545,000 range for Q1 in terms of the average property listing sales price that actually sold on the market. The median, sorry, not the average, the median. So right down smack in the middle. Which means that our real estate market is skewing higher and higher. We now have this crisis, I dare say, Tate, of an explosion of Airbnbs across the entirety of the country.
That's a global issue, because I was listening to the news earlier this week, and they were saying that there were protests. I think it was somewhere in Europe, and I think it was several countries actually, where they were complaining about the tourism, and they were saying that they wanted the tourists out because they have too much Airbnbs, and it is killing their housing market, for the locals. So it makes it harder for the locals to be able to afford property, and also to find some place to live after, when they get out of their parents' house, when they get married, and they want to find a place of their own.
Go ahead, Tate.
So
That's too bad. That's too bad, and you know why?
Wow.
It is because tourism is everybody's business.
That's right. We love
It's
it, don't
that
we?
simple.
We love it, don't we, Tate? So we have the report. The report that came out. He's being facetious, by the way. Just so we're clear. The report also came out that there are apparently tens of thousands of Airbnbs unregistered in this country.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I don't even notice. They're so under the
See
radar.
these tourists walking all up and down them ghetto areas, and you're wondering
where are they going? Where are they coming from?
I thought I was going to the weed man. I didn't.
Oh
know
my gosh, John.
What do you think they coming there to do?
Oh my gosh,
Y'all know
John,
what to do?
please.
Go ahead, Tate.
Every few months, I like to go on this site called it's called AirDNA.
Oh yes.
Where is that? Let me write that
you just
down.
look
AirDNA.
AirDNA and search up Nassau, New Providence.
Okay.
And just look at the number of properties that are on the island alone.
We need to regulate this. I hope this is a good idea for any journalists listening. This is a good story idea for this week, for someone to look into that and see how many. It's a good business story too.
The question
how many
is-
Airbnbs are around the place, because we don't know under the radar and
Bahamas
how it's
actually
contributing to
is
our
in the top
how
five.
it's contributing to our housing problem.
Most profitable places on earth to have Airbnbs. I wouldn't say the majority, but a substantial amount of second homeowners or third and fourth homeowners that buy property in the Bahamas and live abroad, not majority, but a substantial amount of them basically put their houses on Airbnb and all these short-term rental sites to generate, and they generate quite a bit of
lot.
profit off of doing this.
because what they can make in a week, they
Yep.
have to pay. You pay that for a month, and so people are trying to raise money. But I think also that for people who are looking for homes, they're looking for a good place to be with their families, and the places that they want to be, they can't afford it. I don't know if a teacher can rent a house out by Cable Beach,
No.
to be honest, which is so unfair. And
So
so,
if she has a police husband that's moving weight, anything is possible.
well, okay.
Are we talking about the upstanding citizens?
Okay, sure, yeah.
The
I mean,
regular.
they
We're not
start
talking about the bad apples, though.
The bad apples,
The few
yes.
bad apples.
Not the rotten tree, just the bad apples.
I think that's a dream of everyone, to have a good home. And so the Airbnbs, in some ways, I'm down with capitalism, right? But my thing is the
regulation.
they're buying up a lot of houses for true. They're really buying up a lot of homes that people could get.
And I didn't even notice.
And that's unfair. I think maybe even they probably don't even live here. So a lot of rich people are buying up these homes and renting them out as Airbnbs, and it's not fair.
The problem with it is that the government basically has zero incentive to actually do anything to intervene, because as far as they're concerned, they generate tax revenue off of the property tax on these properties. They generate, especially if it's foreign owned in particular, they generate the revenue off of, assuming the business is registered, right, with the Airbnb. They're supposed to generate value-added tax off of every time somebody books. Now, I was under the impression that this was an automatic process, that when you go to book something, Airbnb just charges the 10% and they do their little transfer to the government, etc. apparently that's not universally happening. And some of the places that are quote unquote not registered locally with the government have been somehow avoiding this. I don't know how that's possible.
But this is why the regulation is needed. And although it may be profitable for the government, with all the taxes and everything, in the long term it won't, because they're going to face, especially like politicians and all that, and they're going to face political pushback from the public, because people are going to be struggling to find places to stay.
Well, then keep that. Just say by getting 100 properties to build 100 houses, and I just slapped my forehead, and I mean to say this. I think the idea and concept of that is well intentioned.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it is colossally stupid, because you live in a hyper urbanized 21/7 island. You cannot have a population that's growing predominantly through migration, because behemoths stop aventuring. But you cannot have a population that continues to grow, especially the concentration that you have in the Providence, and you expect everybody to have a house and a yacht. You eventually have to go up. We should be building high density housing at this point that's affordable for Bahamians.
But then people are going to be, the question always comes up is, culturally, that's not a thing that we've done. And then the next thing is crime, right? And how we're socialized. We don't socialize like that. We know about like having a yard, or like a big yard with multiple houses and families living in that yard. But when you talk about what is it, like close living spaces, right? And high density housing areas, then building up and like these doors side by side, that's so
you could space these things out.
I know, but it's kind of like a taboo.
But but the only time we do these things is when it's luxury housing. Is like
That's
when
true. That's true. Like
the
condos,
apartment and condos $1 million and up.
Townhouses,
And
yeah.
someone texted and was just like, let them know too that Bahamian home and landowners are now preferring to do Airbnb, which are short-term rentals instead of long-term rentals for persons looking rent. Here's the problem also with this whole thing that we're not discussing also is, one, it decreases the supply of long-term rentals.
Mm-hmm.
Two, something that we have to address, which we seem to never be able to address, is most people making investments for short-term rentals in the first place are doing so as a means of passive income, as a means of a retirement or pension fund for themselves. They bought a house, or as a means of paying their mortgage. You have a problem in this country where there are not sufficient and adequate financial instruments at people's disposal for investment. Now, you can find an investment in some cases where you put in an index fund or something of the sort locally that gives you anywhere between 2 to 6% per quarter, assuming it performs well. There is no big marketplace like to say you want to park $100,000 somewhere, which you can do, right? Seriously, where are you going to park that in this country? And because these Airbnbs aren't cheap to do. And some of the investments that I know people have made, they've gone to the bank to borrow $60,000, $70,000.
And then you need the insurance too, because let's say you have a group of spring breakers, come and break it up. I
mean, that has happened.
Pros and cons.
Quite frequently.
Yeah.
That's just a part of the nature of the business.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you have to, this is where this whole thing of town planning and zoning comes in. I don't think there's anything wrong with a private citizen saying, hey, I want to turn this apartment that is attached to my house that I've built or this duplex that I own, turn it into an Airbnb. However, I think this should follow zoning laws. So if this area is zoned for residential multifamily housing, it should remain residential multifamily housing. And if you feel as though, well, this isn't profitable enough for me, well, then sell it to somebody who will find a way to make this work for them. Because you cannot.
But will that even make any economic sense if you sell it? Will you have enough money then to go and buy something somewhere else for yourself?
Well, I mean, look at the price of real estate. Like I said, we trended now put at $690,000, the median.
It's cheaper to just
sales
keep what
price.
you have.
I agree, but at the same time, people need places to live.
And I have a question.
Go ahead.
Because as I'm sitting here thinking, I'm wondering who it would benefit for people to stop doing Airbnbs. Wouldn't it be the hotels? Because they're affected. Like when they charge a lot. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
So if you can get a nice Airbnb with the same amenities, and
Or
you
more
can stay
amenities,
there,
and it's
right?
cheaper.
It's cheaper. You can cook your food and have a great experience. So is it really that people can't find places to live? Because these places are being used for Airbnbs in the first place. You can't even afford them to rent.
Yeah, a
Most
lot
people,
of
it's
them,
like
yeah.
3,000 and up.
Mm-hmm.
So who is it really affecting? I feel like that's really the question that we should be asking. Is it that the hotels are striking out? Is there something happening where,
Well, yes, the hotels have complained that they're being negatively impacted by it.
But how much? To what extent?
A lot.
Well, Atlantis has made statements in the past to say it's I don't remember the numbers. I don't want to misspeak,
Mhm.
but it has been a substantial hit to their bottom line, as we are seeing now. When Atlantis has closed one of their towers, I think it's the Coral Tower. The cruise port has slowed down a bit. Bahamar has slowed down. A lot of tourism
Well,
centered.
tourism has slowed down a little in general.
Because
So,
American
yeah,
discretionary
yeah,
spending
yeah.
has slowed down. Someone texted and asked a question at 4. Just think you can at 422-4796. That's 422-GR96. And Tate, you gotta. This is interesting. This person says, Dawn, you sound like the Mamdani guy from the Democratic Party running for the mayor of New York City. Are you a socialist, Marxist, or communist? Should the Bahamas have a leader like Mamdani? I am not a Marxist. I'm not a communist. I do identify more with socialist ideals. I do think a government should work for the people. I do think the Bahamian government should serve the interests of the Bahamian people, Bahamian citizens,
We're still
Bahamian
waiting.
residents, and that the government should prioritize the needs of those people over the needs of investors. Although I think our economic model should change and stop being a profit extraction operation. When people come to our country, invest, take all the money outside the country, and then when they say the same profit with me, I'm going to sell this dread. Or I close it down.
Or
Like
just
Cotton
say
Bay Club
bye.
in South Lutra.
Yeah, bye.
And my reason for this is, and I've said this many times, and I'll say it again, the majority of Bahamians that live in this country are broke. They do not have enough money to have a good quality of life in this country. The average Bahamian, the median income as a result of tourism, according to the 2023 wages survey, the occupations and wages survey, have the average person making, for a man, I think it's $542 a week.
Mm-hmm.
And a women are not making more in this instance, right? $548 a week. Now,
$3.
that is still sub $30,000 a month. On sub $30,000 a month, you are not coming up with the cost of living in this country with a 20% down payment on any property over $200,000 in this country. To do $200,000, 10% is 20,000. 20% is $40,000. How many Bahamians have 40 grand sitting in the bank?
Sitting around, yeah.
I'm just saying, the household, according to the last census, the household income for the Bahamas, combined income for every household, not every household, but the median, is basically $50,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't going on Cable Beach on that. And I just being honest, you don't have to live Cable Beach, you don't have to do any of these things, but you look at the cost of purchasing a house in this country,
Mhm.
it is ridiculous. And,
But the government of housing assistance.
and the housing assistance goes to who, Tate? Tate, you still there?
Tate ain't paying attention.
I'm still here. I'm trying to think of an answer.
Well, the accusation, I'm saying it's the case now. The accusation is around election time, the housing wives is go towards the people who support the party. That ain't always the case, but they say that, right? I've seen that sometimes too. I actually know somebody who is telling me, say, yeah, man, you need to go X, Y, and Z and tell X, Y, Z the thing and slip them one thing and they get you the house too, man, but you got to wait around election time to do it. So when I saw the 100...
And a lot of those areas, it floods too. They like heavy flooding areas.
Yes. Any
and,
place
and
that
they
starts
build
with
up,
pine.
mind you. They
Any place that starts with pine.
They build up, mind you, but even with building up,
You
like,
can't get out the neighborhood.
The cars, your car is gonna get flooded.
You know, most
If
contractors...
you come with boats, kayaks, or jet skis.
You know, most contractors from time to time when these places rain while they're building all these houses, mind you, these quote public-private partnerships with only one companies really get all the contracts.
Because they like to build them in the like wipe out the mangroves.
The contractors just record and say this what the government doing, this what you all buying here, and they'd show that the house built up a little bit, with the house kind of sort of fine, but the road just underwater completely. And it's like, y'all could park in your yard and be okay if it don't rain too hard.
And if you
But
have
you can't get out.
if you have like a ramp to park your car on,
All them had ramps. All the houses had ramps.
Because
Yeah.
some don't have ramps, and then when it's a very like heavy rain and king tide, which happens every once in a while, then the whole thing is, and this may happen every 3 to 5 years.
Everywhere is flooding
And it's
now,
like-
though. The
Yeah.
roads,
yeah,
like,
everything is
more than
flooding.
before.
Yes,
So
it's
maybe
sea level rise and all that. Yeah.
Yes, and then
Look at
you didn't build adequate infrastructure for these things. This is once again where town planning and zoning comes into
Yeah,
place, right?
yeah.
Like we're having this backwards
And the
conversation.
environmental impact assessments, right?
Yes.
And then you need
Well,
to
we don't
see,
do them.
Yeah, but you need to see like, is this place suitable? Should we be clearing out the mangroves
Crystal.
to put a house on it because the area will flood? Like
Crystal,
it always happens.
I want to
It
say this.
always happens.
Crystal, and I don't know if you
It's
recall
like
this.
a swamp area. Like
When-
look at UB. You
when
know, like
SpaceX
that
blew
whole
up,
area.
the first time when they blew up over what they call the place
No,
called
the
again?
rapid uncontrolled disassembly.
Yeah, when
blew
it
up.
did rapidly blow up.
Rapid
Sorry,
uncontrolled.
when it exploded.
No, rapid uncontrolled. They
But
said
yes,
it did not
fine,
explode.
Fine, you're right. It just was a fiery ball.
Yeah, the fiery balls.
Yes,
Yeah,
in a stream,
fireball.
a streak of flames.
Great balls of fury.
But jokes aside, when that happened, right, the government then not published, but they kind of like put out this I guess they did publish this quote unquote environmental impact assessment by SpaceX. To say like, see, the public has nothing to fear. And I guess the intention was, well, you all don't read anyway, so it don't matter. But I read it, and we read it on the show as well. And Tate, you read it as well. The environmental impact assessment they said in the document was basically the rocket can land fine. Nothing can happen. No damage can have to corals or anything of the sort. The rocket exhaust goes up. It don't stay in the ocean. And we were like, yeah, but this assessment has nothing to do with rockets blowing up. Nothing to do with crash landings. Nothing I have to say it right. Nothing to do with rapid uncontrolled disassemblies. Nothing in there even mentioned the possibility of happening. And then shortly after that came up, one of the rockets just decided, I'm going to disassemble myself in the sky with lots of fire.
Boom, boom.
And the debris went across. And then all of a sudden the government was like, oh, you know what? Maybe we can pull this thing back after public outrage. What I'm trying to say to you is, Crystal, the government of the Bahamas absolutely will not be doing proper environmental impact assessments. They will likely not demand environmental impact assessments.
They have
of
done. They
developers.
have done proper ones in the past, mind you.
They
but
have,
it's-
yes. The government
It's
also
not. It's not consistent, and it's not very. It's not clear. It's not consistent. It's not clear, and it's not always published.
You know what
so
you just
it's a little
described?
dodgy.
You know what you just described, Tate? A Caribbean government. Who knew?
Yeah.
So what I'm advocating for here is that housing should be, anytime you have a work permit that you grant in this country, you have to be able to point to say this person has access to housing and can live in these possible locations because this company will either ensure that this happens or assist this person in getting this housing. And I bring this up for a reason. Why do we give work permits to persons who live in shanty towns and then be surprised when you find out that they live in shanty? You knew.
And then
You
be
knew
surprised.
where they lived.
And then, furthermore, be surprised when the government says, "Hey, we're demolishing the shanty
Shanty
town where your worker is living," and it's just like, "Oh, what do I do?" It's crazy. But the next layer to this, because I wanted to talk about this, because this was in the Guardian this week, right? Shelters ready in case Aaron changes course.
Shelter
DRM
ready.
says, right? So if you have all of
May
these,
ready.
how many demolitions to these shanty towns have we had? We know Bahamians and foreign workers are living in these shanty towns, right? Or irregular community housing. I think that's the politically correct term for them. And you do you know, or are you keeping track at the level of homelessness.
No.
Because I have been told by people who know people who have been displaced, right? Who have been displaced, and they're living in the bush. They're living. Some people are in Nassau are literally living in the bush.
Yeah.
So and like in makeshift tents or something of the sort, because they do not have thing, and they have children. And a lot of time, multiple children, and they don't have a place to stay. So now we have a hurricane coming, right? Oh, it may not land, right? But we're in hurricane season, right? Peak hurricane season, August, September, October. And you have many people still displaced, and you're talking about shelters. What do you think is going to happen with those shelters? The same people who are displaced going to be in those shelters. So you're creating another problem. You're expanding on the homelessness. Have you seen the amount of people increase who you've seen walking the streets and trying and just begging for everywhere you go, someone begging you, and they're not even asking for $1 no more.
And when
they're
that
asking
happens,
for
crime
change.
increases.
Exactly.
Yes.
So who do you think is
see
gonna? Yeah, you're exacerbating a lot of the foundational issues that you have in the society by trying to do trying to find quick solution or popular popular projects like demolition of shanty towns. Because it sounds good when somebody says, okay, we're getting rid of the irregular housing, right? It sounds good, but you're not thinking about, okay, are people going to be displaced? How many people are going to be displaced? How many children are going to be vulnerable now? How many people will not have proper sanitation? What implications on public health and safety this is going to have? You have diseases when people don't have access to clean water. There's so much.
The mud was demolished by a set of trailers that flew from that basically
projectiles.
Some flew and some basically sailed through the mud during Hurricane Dorian from the dock in Marsh Harbor, killing untold amounts of people. To this day, we pretend, well, at least the government of the Bahamas pretend, it didn't happen. All the videos and pictures that you saw
and stories,
far more than 70 bodies.
And stories.
In Abaco alone, they tell us, dying. People, they read. I'm just saying, you can't. I have no expectation of that or this entity of government we have then making sense with this issue of the shanty towns. And the Mud was the largest shanty town in the country by far. Displaced a lot of people. A lot of the survivors are still in Abaco. Many went to the States, some came to Nassau. But what I'm trying to get at
when
is...
you talk about housing, you know what I mean? All of this.
What I'm trying to say is that housing, you have two options and two roads you take. This country is at a fork road. I think the entire Caribbean is, to be honest. Either you have socialized or regulated housing in your country where you basically not necessarily demand, but treat housing as a right for citizens, and you regulate it. And even if you have to subsidize it so your citizens can live, so you stop having people living in shanty towns, Bahamians, by the way, residents, people with work permits who work on the construction sites, building infrastructure that we all enjoy in this country here legally, living in shanty towns, right? And it ain't just in Nassau. You can find it in Spanish Wells. You can find it in Harbor Island.
Hold on. But if you look at the quote-unquote shanty towns in certain islands or in certain places,
they still shanty
they're
towns.
they're not there. But
the people they work for wouldn't live there.
No, yeah, okay, that may be true.
What does that tell you?
What I'm saying is that the housing is built along some sort of standard. They are not the same, and I've been in plenty shanty towns in Nassau. They are not the same as the shanty towns we have here. Not at all.
So what you're saying is the oceanfront shanty town different from the shanty town in the bush.
Ones that...
But the operative word is shanty town. Right. Do the people have legal title to the property?
Oh, I don't know. So that's what
they call it again? Allodial titles?
I do not know.
But this is what I'm trying to get at is obviously these people generating some sort of income. To have remittances at the substantial amount we have back to Haiti to this very day. And various Caribbean countries. And I'm knocking nobody. Support your family, do what you got to do. All I'm saying is, I don't think anybody should come to this country that we call the Bahamas and be living in the bush while working on building and constructing things for some of the most wealthy and lucrative entities in this country that exploit their labor, and they gotta live in the bush. All I try to say is everybody should have access to a minimum standard of housing in the country. Something as simple as running water and electricity shouldn't be rocket science for us to figure out.
And I think this is where we introduce the conversation again about taxes, because you have to find a way to get the money. Either you're going to make sure that the irregular housing thing, first of all, it shouldn't have existed in the first place. You're going to make sure that you deal with that problem, and you are very, very intentional about working permits and investigating to make sure that the workers that come here are evaluated and make sure that the places that they're staying is standard, right? And they're not going to live in a shanty town, right? That's the first thing. Or you're going to say, well, since we ain't interested in changing that, we're going to make sure that we tax enough of people who live on a certain standard.
All right, I can say something crazy.
And in certain like neighborhoods and communities that are closed off, they like who may have the capability of doing so, because they're the ones who are taking advantage of a lot of the labor. And
I don't trust the government to tax.
So you have to.
Sorry, Crystal.
You have to.
I don't. I hear you.
It can't just always fall on the regular citizens.
Here's what I think
like
we should
generally
do.
speaking.
Okay, I understand.
And I think there was a conversation about this before, where they tried to raise the tax.
They did.
And some of that
They raised the
fund
ceiling.
should go, raise the ceiling. And so some of those funds, it's very expensive to live here, and so some of those funds should go toward the same housing.
Perhaps what we should
for
do
people who are on work permits
is take property taxes. The government's not going to do this, but just take property taxes and remove them from the consolidated fund. Create a infrastructure and housing authority or something of the sort. I don't know.
Yeah, that would take too much accountability.
Just hear
The
me.
government
Hear me
won't
out.
do it.
All I'm trying to say is, I just feel like that revenue should go towards, because obviously the road tax that we pay don't mean nothing. It should go towards proper infrastructure. That sidewalks be put up in neighborhoods. That bus stops should be adequate. Public transportation should be a key component to this, because the three biggest indicators to the success of a society and whether or not your people will be broke, like many Bahamians are now, three things. One, quality and free education, or at least affordable. And I say those words because you pay taxes for education in this country, as in most of the Caribbean. But do you trust sending your child to the public school? Most people kind of wonky on it, which is why private schools make this much money. An unfortunate, bad decision we've made is private schools subsidies for the Ministry of Education historically was really just about that the public system did not have enough schools, so the government subsidized the private to allow more Bahamians in until they got to the point where they built more schools. Well, we never did that. So that policy just carried on. Second thing, transportation. There's no reason, if you live in New Providence, an island that's 21/7, that you need to own a car. Why do Bahamians need to take out $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, and $60,000 loans to go buy one Chinese EV or one European or Japanese or American car? I just feel like most citizens shouldn't have to order things off of B4 at SPD Japan. You should have access to cheap, affordable, safe, reliable, scheduled public transportation. Barbados does it. It's not rocket science. The Chinese make great EV buses. The Americans do too. Just saying, there's options. Third thing, obviously, simple.
Americans make EV bus.
Go ahead, Tate.
So, Americans make EVs for real?
They do. They just don't sell one. The Europeans do too. You know, the ones with the cables overhead.
Oh, the trolleys.
They're not trolleys, but they stay on a set route. But there's like a cable overhead where they power the buses, the whole road. If you go in Switzerland, you see them.
Okay.
You see them. You see them. They're all over Europe. They have them in some American states as well. But the third thing, obviously, is, well, it could either be healthcare, but I'm going to use housing in this instance. Bahamians should be spending a maximum for just a basic standard of living. I ain't talking about fancy, live out Cable Beach and Ocean Club, etc. Just basic standard of living, no more than 30% of income. Which means if your average person, let's give them a little bit extra, makes $30,000 a year. $30,000 a year. you should be spending. How much is that now, Tate? If you're spending no more than 30%, it's like what, $12,000?
I thought the last thing was housing.
That's what I said. Housing,
Education, transportation, and
housing. Yes,
Okay.
I talk about. Sorry, go ahead, Tate.
No, I was agreeing with you about that. Yeah.
Yeah, $12,000 a year. Now, if unfortunately the reality you live in now, if you want a apartment and you plan on having
a family,
that's ambitious. You ain't doing that. You can struggle. If it's only one income, you're going to struggle. But I was saying, at the current standard we at now, a 1-bedroom apartment can run you $1,200 in an area that has just slightly lower crime.
12 to
being
15.
a flood.
12
Yeah.
to 15.
You could find some places for
12 to
900.
18.
900. You can find some places 850. It's a stretch. It's a stretch. I mean, it's possible. I know somebody who's doing it now, but it's difficult. It's a stretch to find it. A lot of places now are pricing themselves up, and that the price difference between a 2-bedroom and 1-bedroom apartment is actually very close now, which is really stupid.
And the efficiencies are super expensive. The efficiencies in the 1-bedroom is almost the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's happening now is most people, let me not say that. If you work in tourism and you make the median income in this country, you are likely going to spend on housing just over 30% of your income.
Yeah.
And the problem this creates, and I thought this would be better on the Fami Islands, only to discover on islands that big in tourism is actually worse. Wow. The rent is just as high, in some cases higher than it is in Nassau. The consequence of this is that people have less disposable income. I don't need to go on and on and on.
Extra jobs.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think most people have multiple jobs nowadays.
What you
Especially
create
younger
is
people.
a grind where it's just drudgery day in, day out, day
People
in,
have
day
2
out.
to 3 jobs. I think the average the young person, because the older Bahamians would probably, I don't know, I imagine that their income would be a little bit more because they had time to work for a couple years, climb the ladder, or get more education, and so their salaries, their salaries would be bigger. But when you talk about millennials and Gen Zs who are on the younger spectrum of the workforce, a lot of people are not.
So I actually made a mistake.
Bracket,
it's not 12,000. It's 9,000.
They have
So you
multiple jobs.
It ain't happening. Someone texted in correct. It says it's actually 9,000. Yeah, correct. It is 9,000. It's not 12,000. They're correct.
9,000 is
that's $750 a month on a median income in the Bahamas. The median, which is roughly just under $30,000. But we're gonna give them $30,000 for this. So you're not getting.
That's what that is.
Yeah, you ain't getting it for $750. And by the time you pay your light bill, your water bill, your internet bill, if you decide to get internet,
especially that light bill, boy.
yeah, you will eat closer to 40-something% of your income on this, because I think on average your light bill should be is somewhere around $2,000 a year. Anywhere between $2,000 and $2,500. And the thing is, you have to make sure that if you rent in an apartment, and this is the stupidest thing in this country, the person who rented the apartment before you
Finish paying their.
If they didn't, or had their bill was, let's say that they didn't never turn off the AC, never turn off the heater, and their bill was $350 a month. When you go to pay your deposit as a person renting, who have nothing to do with this person, your deposit is now higher because of the previous person who was in there, because they estimate based on what they were paying. So if you go in there and your bill is less than $150, then the next person to come after you benefits off of your responsible use of energy.
So that's credit. That's credit scoring.
All of these things have to be factored into, because you can't just move into a place for $9,000 a year, because you got to pay first and last month rent, and you got to pay security deposit.
Yeah, true. That's a lot of money.
And you got to move.
Right.
So you will spend just over 40% of your income. And what ends up happening is you put people in duress, financial duress. I don't think anybody would disagree that there are a lot of Bahamians in financial duress. Let's read some more of the text. Someone says, good morning. I think the government might want to consider building high-rise housing right back on the properties where they demolished the shantytown, they can go to the public and raise the capital and call it sustainable housing projects.
So here we are again. I spoke about this before. So
I agree with them, though.
No, but the thing is, how are they? Okay, so okay.
I understand what
Nothing.
I understand what you're thinking.
Comment. No,
there
because-
is a difference. I'll explain.
because-
The difference is
Yeah.
everybody has the specter of the American projects.
Yeah.
And the disaster that these large housing blocks concentrated with subsidized housing for disadvantaged and oftentimes poor communities, predominantly
and
black
so
people.
a lot of it ends up with crime. Yeah.
Yeah, but see, the problem is you can't just build a housing development and just be like, yeah, we can get you a house, y'all figure it out. Which is what it did in the States. You have to have proper healthcare facilities, get them access to food stores, shopping. All these things need to be. I'll give you a good example. A good example to look at is the French in France. In France, public subsidized housing is like the luxury housing we have in the Bahamas. It's smaller, it ain't these big penthouses, etc. But the basic standard that they have is substantially higher. The expectation that you have is that, well, obviously they can't have plenty crime. They actually don't. Not in those particular neighborhoods. And also, you got to give some caveats there. France is virtually a police state. For those who didn't know, they have a seriously heavy security apparatus and surveillance in the country.
So do we need to increase that?
I think in our country, I don't think the threat is necessarily the same because, France did the whole genociding the Algerians thing. So I don't think our threat level is nearly the same, but I think you should have a strong security apparatus. I'm not advocating to create projects. Like, you still got to pay rent. But all I'm saying is I don't think building a one-bedroom apartment in a 4-story building should cost you $3,000 a month. You know what I'm saying?
And that's another reason why the irregular communities like the shanty towns are has continued to expand so much, because with the cost of housing going up so much, even if
yes, because
it's almost impossible for you to come to the Bahamas, work, and then you know what I mean, like come to the Bahamas.
If the Bahamas kept on its
and
trend
pay a rent, you can't
from
afford
the
that.
1970s straight to today in terms of wage growth, the average Bahamian household should be somewhere around $90,000, which means the average individual median income should be somewhere around $45,000 to $50,000. That is household income here. It stagnated for 30 years. It didn't grow. If we were in that situation, we wouldn't be having this conversation at all. Sorry, you were saying something.
I'm just asking what's the definition of a shanty town, and is it just Haitians that live there?
No, it isn't just Haitians live there. Bahamians often live there too.
Yeah, so we saw in the newspaper there was a report, I think a few weeks ago maybe, where they said Bahamians, and Bahamians, and Haitians or something like that. They acknowledged that Bahamians were living in the shanty towns too, and we know this, right? It's been reported multiple times. We've been in the shanty towns. We've spoken to Bahamians and foreigners and Haitian Bahamians who live in the shanty towns.
This person said, Dawn, are you aware that the oldest profession in the world is alive and well in the Bahamas? And making good money is a side hustle because things tough. Great benefits in the sole profession from what I understand. Yes, Texter.
Yeah, we don't encourage that.
There's no benefits from that.
I'm not saying there's benefits. I'm just saying
the Bahamas has some really
prostitution.
High, but
is
Bahamas has
extremely prevalent in this country.
Yeah, it's lucrative, but at the same time, it's illegal. Let's remember that.
Okay,
we don't
so is
advocate. We don't advocate for those.
So is the police moving coke?
Okay, please. We don't advocate. But what I'm saying is that it may be lucrative, but it's illegal and it's risky.
It's a bad sign though.
We're one of the highest, and we like
with AIDS,
not just AIDS, but just like STDs and any type of.
My question was because
disease.
Is there like a lot of crime in the shanty towns and all of that? Because I'm thinking.
Well, you don't know because they don't report anything.
No, we don't know. Yeah,
they don't report anything.
But exactly.
When the mud was its thing, they had their own little police thing going on in there.
I was asking because I know in Jamaica we have these
Garrison
big,
communities.
giant garrison communities
Yeah.
made of apartment buildings, like what you're suggesting.
It's irregular.
They build,
It's-
and they are. I don't think people commit crimes where they live, but a lot of them are terrible. Like they're not maintained.
No.
They look terrible. People, I can't say the words.
Squalor.
Right, and so it's
Yeah,
gotta
so
be
it's
replacing one
neglected
thing or
communities,
something.
yes.
Yeah.
So-
that might
So
be
the shanty towns are
worse.
similar. They don't have most of them. They don't have proper or standardized.
Yeah, so it's gotta be the same
water.
So this is why I'm
electricity.
saying what
and that's
you-
why they burn down sometimes. Because I know people
Well,
always think it's. I know. I know it's always the assumption that someone is burning it down or whatever.
aren't they?
That may be. That may be a thing. But I know in some cases there. It's because of the poor electricity. It's like, oh, we can just plug this wire, plug this wire here, and
okay, I understand your argument.
so it is
It's
very
fair.
risky.
But I will say this. Part of the reason the French do the things the way they do, and several other European countries, Brussels is probably one of the worst examples of this. I think the Netherlands is another bad example too. They made some mistakes in the 70s and 60s with the Arab community, and they've rectified a lot of them, but the consequences linger
Yeah.
of what they did in those countries, like the Netherlands, is they basically created enclaves where you say, we're going to build housing for y'all over here, and all of y'all live over there. So what ended up happening was, obviously, crime, because these people were uneducated, undereducated, crime prevailed in those communities. But even today, now that the GDP per capita for those communities have massively increased, there is still a separation in terms of their culture from the general community because you brought them here for 2 generations and treated them separately. The Bahamas already has an issue with enclaves. Like wealthy white Bahamians don't live around poor white Bahamians. Average middle-class white Bahamians in this country, due to historical issues, live in different neighborhoods than the average black Bahamian.
Yes.
Rich black Bahamians live. This whole class thing that happens in this country, right? And then you have the issue of the shanty towns and Bahamians and Haitians and which area you can live in, and I will live in this area because of this. We haven't even assimilated our own people within our own country. I think this is a good way to rectify that situation of assimilation, as the French would say. I think it's something that we need to do in this country because the only thing we're doing by the way that we're practicing housing is reinforcing economic segregation. And I think some attempts were made in the past. I know what you're thinking. There was attempts in the past to rectify some of this, especially in the eastern part of Nassau. I was identified. One of them was Elizabeth Estates. Didn't work out the way that I guess the intention was. Because we can't, but if you were able to look at the income data from just Elizabeth Estates and then its surrounding areas like Eastwood, etc., you will find there's a inequality and disparity in terms of income, education level, professions, right? So these are things
And crime.
All of this is about urban and town planning, Like all of these things are interwoven, interconnected. Like you can't just do one. Anyway, whatever. I'm going to read some text. We got to go. We do final words.
Oh man, the caller.
Yes, someone says, thank you, Eye Opener. I did think you guys should ask Dwight to have a week of Guardian talk shows focused on the cost of housing living so the government can get it in their air. Last person said, don't we have a major housing problem in this country? Foreigners with access to large amounts of capital are securing financing abroad and buying our properties here. That is 100% correct, sir or ma'am. Particularly in gated communities, this is not only drives up the cost of housing, but reduces the supply available for ordinary Bahamians because you can't compete with that capital, man. They also say the result of this are locals are being priced out of their own communities while outside investors benefit. Unless we address this imbalance through stronger regulations, fair housing policies, restrictions on foreign ownership, the dream of home ownership will become even further and further away from the reach of the average Bahamian.
And this is why a lot of Bahamians go into debt trying to purchase a house because everybody wants one and everyone needs it. Like you need somewhere to live. Yeah. So it's really sad.
Any final words, guys?
No, that's my final words there.
Nadine?
No, but governments should just look after their people. I think
Yes.
that's my
Tate.
word.
God bless Hubert Ingram.
That man made some mistakes. And the housing thing was one of them.
Yeah, and I think that's why you have so much. It always whenever the government just comes in or comes out. Or it's always on the campaign trail. More affordable housing. It's such a big promise that they like to. It's a hot topic because it's an easy thing that could get people to like them or want to support them. Just the hope of having your own house.
People keep being bamboozled instead of just agitating for these things.
So
it will never come, y'all, though. Don't listen to these lies.
It's one text wasn't able to reach. Yes, call it text, or I see your text. Next time I'm going to work on that. We're out of time. I guess my final words would just be, we are in fact in a housing crisis. Whether or not we want to admit that it is, we have an affordable housing crisis in this country. Yeah. Bahamian wages have stagnated for 30 years. That's not seeming to be changing, at least based on the data available. Government has to step in on this. And if you are aspiring, whether you're Coalition Independence, FNM, or PLP, and you want to change things, and you want to win an election, that's how you do it.
No, but do it properly.
But you can't sell dreams.
Don't just say, we're going to make housing affordable and that's it. You have to explain how. Bahamians, don't let these politicians, don't let them off the hook easy. Ask questions.
Mm-hmm. I got to say, I got to take one of the words as Sebastian. I do see some Bahamians making a lot of money in the corner over here, and then I see a tsunami of people just trying to survive. It takes many engaged Bahamians like me, you, and everybody else listening to build a better Bahamas, a more equitable Bahamas that works for all of us. Yeah. And if that makes me a socialist for advocating for that, then I am. But I want my people to do better. Be good, Bahamas.
Wait, find what you love and let it kill you. Sharp under pressure, thick and diamond. All eyes on me like a conductor. That means just play your role, you might get chime in. Wait, play the game to change the game. Word to gooch, that's my